Hi, guys. Welcome back. I want you to see Fitness and Fast Cars. That's the name of this YouTube channel. And he's going to talk about something that I always warn people about. Don't get in love with the idea of having a walking partner or a gym partner because all they're going to do is most likely let you down. So let's hear what he has to say here and tell me what your thoughts are in the comments.
A quick video about training partners and how everybody thinks they need a training partner to work out. I mean, I got to say, for the last 2 years, I've been training with a partner, which is my wife, probably the best training partner I've ever had. But other than that, the last 13, 14 years that I've been training, I want to say 80% of the time I train by myself because honestly, having a training partner ends up always being an ass, always being a pain in the ass. You constantly got to try to figure out what time they're going to meet you or what time can you meet them. Or, everybody's got different agendas, different, work different shifts or get off of work or go to work at certain times. And honestly, all it ends up doing is hindering your workout. At the end of the day, you get nothing done, or you're sitting there, you're ready to go to the gym. Next thing you know, you get to the gym. Now you're on the treadmill waiting for 20 minutes to an hour because they're running behind because, nobody ever shows up when they say they're going to show up. So in my eyes, it was never worth having a training partner. Not until, eventually my wife started training with me. So, and at the end of the day, too, another thing that used to really irritate me about training with somebody is there's always a lot going on. You might be bigger or, or you're more focused on your workout. And then you'll have somebody that wants to train with you, maybe wants to learn a little something. And I have no problem every once in a while somebody comes along and trains with me. But it seems like every single time somebody comes and trains with you, they want to, they don't act, they don't say it, but they'll try to lift more weight than they can lift or they'll try to, show you how strong they are. And honestly, I don't go to the gym to lift a bunch of weight and show off. I go there to get it done, get it in, get out. Train, do my workout. And, it's an everyday thing, I don't make it a big deal. So I kind of wanted to make this video, man. If you guys are serious about working out, you don't need a partner.
Yeah, so I just wanted you guys to hear that real quick because I totally agree. You don't. And if you can somehow get your husband or wife to be your partner, that's a wonderful thing. And even though he's talking about lifting weights and being a gym bro, so to speak, even if it's something easy like taking a walk, if somebody wants to walk twice as fast as you, you're not going to enjoy it. Go on your own walk. If they walk with you, great. If they're not there, who cares? Put your shoes on and keep going. All right, guys, this YouTuber is named Christina. The name of her channel is Life Over Existence, and she's going to be starting a weight loss plan on this particular video. We'll talk about that more towards the end. Tell me what you guys think.
Hey guys, this is Christina. I am 27 years old. I am 5'8.5". I live in Louisiana and I weigh around 300 pounds. This is going to be my video blog to keep track of my weight loss and my journey to better health and to better physical fitness. Just a little backstory. I've been overweight my entire life. I think the last time I was probably at a healthy weight for my age was 6 or 7 years old. So many moons ago. I think the first time I remember weighing myself and actually knowing my weight, I was like 16 or 17 years old and I weighed around 220 pounds. And I remember actually being happy about that because I had just lost some weight and I felt pretty good about myself. So imagine me being happy with being at most people's starting weights. But that's how I felt. And so my whole life I've struggled with my weight, I've struggled with my appearance, struggled with my self-confidence, with depression. And I say that not as an excuse. I say that not to enable me or to give me a reason for the way that I am or the amount that I weigh, because there are no excuses. When it comes down to it, it is our dedication, it is our determination, It is our ability to overcome any obstacles placed in our path. It's going to get us where we need to be. And if we're truly determined, no physical issues, no depression is going to get in our way. Because let's be honest, the difference between a fast metabolism and a slow metabolism is probably several hundred calories. If you're determined enough, doesn't matter, whether you got PCOS or you've got, a family of people that eat wrong, all of those different issues, you won't let those things keep you from getting where you need to go. And I know we live in the age of fat acceptance.
Wow, I really love the little turn and twist that she took there. Yes, guys, that's how we used to always believe. We used to always believe, hey, excuses be damned, we're going to do this. I really like her attitude here at the beginning. Tell me what you think of her attitude and if you think that's the way we as a people should get back to.
And what do they call it? Healthy at any size. But I just want to say that's a load of garbage. I'm close to 300 pounds and I don't need somebody to pat me on the back and tell me that I'm beautiful just the way I am. I'm confident. I feel beautiful. My husband calls me beautiful. You know what? Yeah, I'm self-conscious about my weight and about the way my body looks, but I'm not losing weight to look better. I'm not losing weight to be pretty. That might have been my purpose in the past. That might have been the decision that spurred me on the other times that I tried to lose weight. But at this point in time, I'm losing weight because I know for a fact that it is not healthy to be a 27-year-old woman at 5'8.5" that weighs 300 pounds. It's not healthy. I cannot be healthy at that size. I don't want to be accepted at that size. I don't want people to pat me on the back and tell me that I'm okay at that size. I don't want the world to change to fit the way that I feel. I don't want airplanes to get larger seats. I want to get a smaller butt. I don't want the world to fit around my worldview. You know what? It's simple science. Obesity is not okay. Obesity is not healthy. Obesity is not beautiful.
God, I love it. Guys, the reality is you can't make the world change for you, even though a lot of people try to get that to happen. What you need to do is start with the man or the woman in the mirror, change yourself, and before you know it, you'll start enjoying this world we live in a lot more.
There are beautiful women that are obese, but the fact that they're obese is not beautiful. And so, that's just a little rant, I guess, from my point of view on those things. But anyways, this is mainly going to be just me doing updates on my weight loss, maybe doing some videos on what I eat and my diet, my exercise, that sort of thing, my lifestyle. But mainly this video and any videos that come hereafter are going to be for me personally. I would like to maybe eventually evolve into doing some inspirational videos because I know I've gotten a lot of inspiration from other people on YouTube and the internet from their weight loss journeys. So if it's possible that I can end up doing that.
All right, so I hate to rain on your guys' parade. I was hoping to tell you that this was a time machine hit and that we would be checking out on her progress going forward. But believe it or not, she was a one-hit wonder. If you guys make a plan to start a diet and exercise routine, do it. And if you make a plan to chart that and vlog it on YouTube, do it. Because otherwise you have situations like this where we find a great video and we want to follow your progression, but then we're not able to do so. So again, try to put some actions behind your words. With that being said, why don't you guys go grab your shoes? Let's go for a walk. Yay! Holy moly, guys. It is 6:30 and it is hot as heck. Guys, we're in the middle of a heat streak right now where for the last 10 days it's been in the 110s. And according to the 10-day forecast here in Arizona, it's going to be in the 110s for the next 10 days. So it's like 20 straight days of 110-degree weather, and it's starting to have a real heat wave effect because we're getting to the point where even in the early morning, that heat is not dissipating, and it's a little humid because of the clouds and stuff that we had yesterday, if you remember. So this morning I'm out here at 6:30 and it's already 93 degrees and it's already very hot and pretty sticky. So pretty tough deal. There's a farmer in Shropshire, England, Shropshire. I forget how, I don't know exactly how you guys pronounce it. But this Farmer Steele, his last name is Steele, he lost a $5,700 Rolex 50 years ago when he bought it at the time for 100 lire, and or pound or whatever you guys go by out there. And now that would equate to a $5,700 Rolex. He lost it while tending to his cows. And he had assumed that one of his cows had accidentally eaten it and that it was lost forever. Well, one of his cows did eat it, but one of his cows also, I guess, pooped it out. And recently, Farmer Steele allowed for a metal detector enthusiast to go over his fields with the metal detector. So we know Mr. Steele is a good guy, because if he buried any bodies out there, he probably wouldn't have allowed the guy with the metal detector to search, right? So that's got to be a good sign. But the metal detector gentleman found, or the gentleman using the metal detector, found the 50-year-old Rolex watch. So they're showing this watch and it looks like it's been through hell, which I guess if you were swallowed up by a cow and came out the other side, I guess that is pretty close to hell. But apparently, could you imagine? Apparently back in the day, this farmer saved up a lot of his money to get this watch because one of his neighbors had had a Rolex and he fancied it, and that was one of his things that he wanted to save up for and get. So he took a long time saving up for this watch. Then all of a sudden one day he loses the watch. If I had a Rolex, I don't know if I would be using it out on the farm to do my farming duties, you know? But anyway, he loses this watch, has this metal detector guy come 50 years later, and he's able to find the watch. Now, I guess the watch is one of those situations where, because now he actually owns another Rolex, he decided not to fix it up or whatever to make it wearable again, but he did decide to clean it up. So he does kind of keep it as a little memento of what had happened. So I thought that was super duper interesting. I mean, at the same time, I don't know if that's a good or a bad story, because no matter how you look at it, the guy had a Rolex, which are just really super expensive watches. And, you know, even though he recovered it 50 years later, I don't think anyone is going to want to buy that thing off of him. So, you know, he still ended up losing his investment, in my opinion. But I still thought that was an interesting story. Holy moly, guys, the weather out here feels like a warm coat. It literally feels like I'm walking through a day that's not cold at all with a winter coat. That is the best way I could describe this heat. It is like literally hugging the body. So let's have a little summer pep talk. What did I do today? Well, in order to beat a little bit of this heat, I got out of the house about half an hour early. So I'll be finishing this walk at the time that I normally would be starting the walk. Those are things that you can do as well. If you live in a state that is hot as heck, what you could do is try to wake up a little bit early, see if you can get out of the house a little bit early, and maybe you can save yourself a little bit of misery. since it's so hot, we'll make a little left turn here, go down this way. That way we can take advantage of a tiny bit of shade here going sideways. See if we can stay out of the direct line of the sun. But of course, we walk right into the tree trimmers and the leaf blowers. Son of a bitch! All right, so as you guys know, I have a propensity for walking right in the path of leaf blowers, like literally every single day. And apparently today was no different. I turned down one road to get a little bit of shade, which is now gone, and we walk right into leaf blowers. But the point is if you have different routes in your neighborhood where there's some shade that you can take advantage of, walk in the shade as much as you can. There's something about the sun and the heat of the sun during the summer that can just really throw off those quit walking vibes, you know? Oh, it's too hot, we're gonna walk tomorrow. Guys, when it comes to the summer, you're gonna have consecutive days in a row where it might be scorching hot. I have a feeling a lot of people that walk in Arizona, when it hits June and July and August, I have a feeling that's when a lot of them go indoors and start walking. I was looking at this product called a walking pad. Have you guys ever seen this? Instead of a big bulky treadmill, your walking pad is kind of a fold-up type unit that can fit underneath a bed or a table or something, right? So it can be easily put away. But at the same time, if you bring it out, it enables you to exercise and walk on it, no different than a treadmill, but without all the size and bulk. And I was wrong about treadmills. About a week or two ago, I told you guys that if you went to a Goodwill, you could buy a used treadmill, which is true. But I was under the impression that the newer treadmills were about $700 or $800. But I went to Dick's Sporting Goods in the mall. Guys, a treadmill was like, I think like $5,000 or $6,000, and I think they had some more cheaper ones that were like $1,700 or $1,800. And I was like, ooh, God, I don't think you're ever gonna catch me buying those. Like, even if I had 2 or 3 Rolexes and a couple Mercedes in my garages, I don't think you're gonna ever see me spend that type of money on exercise equipment. God, could you guys imagine if you spent $1,500 or maybe even $2 or $3 grand on some sort of apparatus like that? And then imagine if you quit and it just sat there taking up space in one of your rooms of the house. Oh my God, that would just bother me. That's the same as the farmer losing a Rolex to a cow. By the way, I've seen pictures online of cows eating snakes. Cows will eat little animals if they get them in their mouth and stuff, and it's like, my goodness, you go through life thinking these cows just like eating grass and I don't know, do they eat hay as well? But you figure these animals just eat grass and stuff, but my goodness, if they get a snake in their mouth, the snake is going down. And apparently, even if they get a hard Rolex watch in their mouth, it's almost like cows don't understand to maybe let something go. Apparently, once it's in the mouth, it's going down into the stomach. And I think cows, correct me if I'm wrong, Venters, but I think cows have like 2 or 3 different stomachs, right? One is for one thing, the other is for the grass or something. Either way, they are grass grinding up machines. I don't know how to explain this heat, but man, today it is particularly gnarly. And the fact that it's 6:30 and this hot, oh my goodness. Oh my God, I just realized I didn't bring an extra battery. Oh my gosh. Well, then we might as well do a short walk because this battery's not gonna make it very long. Oh, guys. That's one problem when you change your schedule and start waking up a little bit earlier. All of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I didn't bring my extra battery. So I just want you guys to know that if all of a sudden the camera stops out of the blue, you'll know why. And it's probably already feeling hot as heck. We'll go down this road. We don't go down this road very often. These streets here are really interesting because we have a lot of old school alleyways. I don't know if you guys have any of these alleyways where you live, but these alleyways, when I was a kid, it was almost like a different country. Me and my buddies, when we would walk home from school, we would sometimes take little alleys instead of the roads, right? And whenever we took the alleys, because they were so safe back then, you know, you didn't worry about seeing a human being in the alley, because usually there wasn't anybody in the alley, just you. And so we used to walk and we'd feel like, God, this must be what it feels like to live in the olden days. Because, you know, when you're in an alley, you're walking on a dirt road, right? And I just loved walking to my friend's house through the alleyways. I thought that was so fun. But I got to be honest with you guys, nowadays, I view our alleys as like this back channel way where a lot of times the homeless people walk. You know, half the time you see them out walking on the street and you can tell who they are because they usually are dressed like it's winter even though it's the summer. And, you know, they usually have backpacks and other junk they're carrying with them, you know. And I shouldn't say junk. If that's the last thing they own, then it's special to them. But you know what I mean. You can usually see them a mile away. And a lot of times they'll sit there and take a nap in the alley, or I assume they'll do their drugs in the alley. And it's just like, I would not want my son or daughter, I don't even care if they're 15 or 16 years old, I would not want them walking in these alleys and seeing these people. And don't get me wrong, if you look down an alley, you're not necessarily going to see a homeless person, but, you know, you're never surprised nowadays when you see them in the alleys. The scary thing is we've had situations where people will sleep right outside your back gate, which again, you know, could you imagine if you sent your 10-year-old kid out to throw the trash in the dumpster, and all of a sudden you're dealing with a freaking homeless guy out there with him or her? That's so unacceptable. I can't even put into words how irritating that is. I think we are trying to pass legislature down here in Arizona that makes camping illegal. So that's the way that we kind of fight that. And it's interesting because you need to have people on both sides. You need to have people arguing for and against certain, you know, potential laws and stuff. But this is one of those things that when people vote against it, I feel like what they're saying is, hey, let's keep things exactly the way they are. And man, that is so easy to do when you live in a gated community where things don't affect you. And that's the one unfair thing about life. Some people with the greatest ideals, they live in these gated communities where they are sheltered from this stuff, and they don't have to worry about somebody smoking fentanyl or doing fentanyl outside of their backyard fence. They don't have to worry about these things. So instead of understanding where people are coming from, they just want to keep stuff the way it is. And that's what gets your boy wanting to vent, because it's like, I've seen how these people can ruin a neighborhood. I've seen how these people aren't even decent enough for their family members to have them live inside the house, so they let them live outside in their vehicles doing their shit. And you have a situation where all the neighbors are probably on edge because, you know, you got to live with people like this guy up here. And it's just really, really frustrating. This neighborhood used to be one where you could walk around as a 5 or 6 year old. I say this because when I was 5 and 6, we would walk to school with 7 and 8 year olds, you know? And we were taught about stranger danger, and there were windows where they would keep a little placard of a letter E. And we were told when I was little that those were parents and people that if you had trouble with stranger danger, you could go knock on their door and they would help you. those placards don't exist anymore. And so I don't know what kids are supposed to do, but at the same time, damn it, I never see any kids walking to school anymore. Isn't this a little weird? School is supposed to start here in X amount of minutes or whatever. There's nobody out here, guys. I'm telling you, it's almost like we live in a video game simulator or something, because it's almost like a giant washing of what we were into what we are now. There's a movie that Stephen King did called The Langoliers. And in that movie, they literally start to realize that, oh my goodness, the past is being erased because they got stuck in some sort of weird time warp where instead of in the present day, they were stuck like a day or two behind. I haven't seen that movie in like 15 years, but I'm sure some of you guys have. And it's just based on the idea that tomorrow does get eaten up. And so you have to live your life in the now and look forward to the future. You can't live in the past, right? But man, when you see literally your very neighborhood that you grew up with, and it slowly but surely gets overtaken by these people. What do you mean these people, Jesse? I mean literally these homeless people, they're like a different animal. I mean, I don't know, have you seen them? They walk around like this, with their neck like this because of the fentanyl. And when they get high, the fentanyl makes their body and their muscular system, it makes them all where they have no ability to stand up straight. And if they do stand up straight, they're in intense pain. So we literally have these drugs that are creating these zombies, these super addictive drugs where if you even come in contact with them, if you don't have a tolerance up, which I'm assuming a lot of these homeless people do have this great tolerance where they can handle these drugs without perishing. But if you and I don't have that and we come into contact, guess what? We're gonna croak. And doesn't that seem like a shame? I don't know any numbers, but I'd be willing to bet every day there's people croaking that have nothing to do with this drug. And man, so anyway, they're trying to pass ordinances that make camping illegal so that I am assuming they can curb this homeless issue that we have. You know, I see all these buildings. We have this mall that I go to every day when I go to Walmart. And this mall is gigantic, and it's this giant empty building, and it's just like, God, I wish we could some way, somehow get these people off the street and into one of these many empty giant malls. It just seems like a shame that we have all these empty buildings everywhere. I feel like America, and I hate to say this, but I feel like America in the next 20 or 30 years is not going to be the best country to live in anymore. I think you're going to have a lot of people trying to jump the northern border and trying to move to Canada. And even Canada seems just like America too. It seems like a lot of goofy things that they do. So I just really feel kind of down about the future of our country. And it's not that I don't love the country, and it's actually not that I don't have empathy for homeless people, but man, our homeless people are not just people that are down on their luck. These are people that have decided to start messing around with drugs that are just literally turning them into zombies. And if you have the strength and the wherewithal to want to live in a world with zombies, then that's a special gift you have. I don't think we should force it on everybody else. And right now, I'm sorry, but you can't help but feel like you're forced to live with zombies. And because they walk in the alleys with their head craned up, looking over people's fences, it's almost like everybody's just waiting until they're victimized. And it just seems really crappy. Very, very crappy. Hey, there's one good thing when it's super hot. You get done with your walk pretty quick. We had to go a little bit of a shorter route today. Again, not that I'm against walking, but it's so hot, my battery's probably gonna stop any second now. If it does, I want you guys to think about starting your walk a little bit early. Think about walking indoors if it's super hot. If you're in Arizona, don't be walking after 7 or 8 in the morning. It's just too hot. Make sure you stay hydrated. And remember, just how you have trouble walking in the summer if you live in Texas, Florida, or Arizona, people are going to have trouble walking in the winter if they live up in the northeast part of the country, right? Or in Canada. So we all have our little trials that we have to get over, but don't stop. If you had already lost 30 or 40 pounds, you don't want to let something like the weather stop your progress. So keep going. And with that, I better say goodbye before my camera stops. So listen, I wish you a beautiful day. You're doing good. Think about doing a little extra credit if you live in a state where it's not too miserable. And have a beautiful day. We'll talk soon.